Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/pettyrevenge, which is like pro-revenge, but it's for the little things. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy some petty revenge stories. Slacker coworker gets her comeuppance. I used to work in a warehouse where one other girl and I worked in one area together. Except I did all the work while she played on her phone all day, in between occasionally yelling at me for stuff I didn't do. I'd hustled to get the job done, and I cleaned up on recognition from supervisors who saw me hustling. She tried to blow it off when she got busted for slacking, but never did clean up her act. She even occasionally had the nerve to tell me to calm down because I work fast, and she looked bad in comparison just standing there. Eventually, I found another job, but I made a point of not bothering to mention to this girl when my last day was. I knew she was going to be unpleasantly surprised by suddenly having to take over my job the next day, so I set her up to have the worst first day ever. I used up all the good packaging tape and left out only the identical looking stuff that tore easily. I hid the good tape machine and left out the identical looking but broken one. I unhooked the UPS scale. When you unplug the scale, you have to restart the computer, and I changed the password. Resetting the password was a massive headache because IT was terrible and inevitably took a couple of hours to do anything. The whole thing took less than 30 seconds, and I sabotaged at least half a day for her. I later learned she got fired for not doing her job. That's like a petty revenge that slowly turned into a pro-revenge because she ended up getting fired, but I guess she deserved it. Thief steals towel at wave pool. I caused them disgust and regret. Yesterday, I was at a fairly well-known amusement park that has a wave pool. My group put most of our belongings in a locker, other than our towels. Well, my towel is one that is very unique, and somebody decided to take it and then leave it with their own things, sitting wadded up on a lounge chair. I was pretty mad that someone would do that, but the towel was starting to get worn out, so I decided I'd rather have revenge than take it back. I went up to one of the snack stands and filled several cups with ketchup, and then filled my cup with Loganberry soft drink. I mixed a concoction of the two, and then put the mixture all over the inside of the wadded up towel, and then sat myself a couple of rows back and waited. Eventually, I see some entitled looking teenage boy go up to the lounge chair that had my towel, and without thinking, he quickly grabbed it and threw it around his waist. Then, his face suddenly became very serious. I watched him undo the towel and look down in disgust. By that point, a couple of people who I am guessing were his friends had caught up to him and started berating him and laughing that he was covered in some chick's period blood. He looked nice and upset and ran to the bathroom. I didn't see him again after that, but it sure made my day. I have never once in my life heard of Loganberry. I need to Google this right now. Okay, I just Googled it and it's a raspberry-blackberry hybrid. I want to try this because I've never heard of that and that sounds nice. Teenagers at the movies get a taste of their own medicine. Today, I went to see the new Spider-Man movie with my family. 2 brothers, mum and dad, expecting to have a great time. As we walked into the mall, the theatres are upstairs from the shops, I notice a group of about 8 boys standing in a group. They aren't doing anything, so I just keep walking. Unfortunately, as we're watching the previews, which is halfway over, the entire group walks in yelling. Like, for God's sake, you don't say hi to someone across the entire theatre. They're getting shushed and such when the movie actually starts, but I could still hear some talking and ironic clapping, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, they were also sitting right in front of us. This is where it gets bad. We're a good chunk into the movie, and one of these guys throws trash over their shoulder and it hits my mum. At first, we're confused because we don't know where it came from or what it even was. We just shrugged it off and kept watching. Later, maybe 20 minutes, they throw a crushed up candy box and it hits my mum again. This time in the face. I was really angry. My mum yelled, "Knock it off," but that wasn't enough for me. I grabbed my large Coke, which is massive because I'm in the US, and dumped it all over the kid in front of me. Oh man, did that feel good. I said, "Oops, looked like I spilled. Better get a refill." Listen, that kid was shook. I'm not sure what the others thought, but I got a few cheers from the audience. They were silent for the rest of the movie, and when the lights turned on, it looked like he had gone swimming. I hope that the kids don't behave like that in public ever again, but if they do, somebody should pour a drink on them. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but that person better have cleaned it up, or someone should have, because the poor cleaners will have to clean all that up and it'll be awful, sticky, ugh. Brother doesn't let me play his game, so I don't let him play on mine. In my house, me and my brother have this rule, which is if one of us buys a game or games console, we usually share it. There has only been one where this hasn't applied, and it was that recently when I got my Rift S. But even then, my mum eventually gave in and decided he could use it, even though it's for people 13 plus, which he is just barely under. I didn't implement the rule about the Rift S, my mum did, as she saw he was 1 year under the age limit on the box, and thought it would somehow cause some harm to him, like how the 3DS has a 7 plus rating for the 3D feature, and it took me a while to convince her it was safe to play. Now onto the story. So my brother recently got Super Mario Maker 2, a game that both of us have been waiting to play for a long time. He got a physical copy, and the day after launch, I asked him for the cartridge so I can play it. Keep in mind I'm paraphrasing it, because it happened a few days ago. "Hey brother, could I have the cartridge for SMM2? Super Mario Maker 2. "No, since you didn't let me play Rift-esque for a week, I'm gonna make you wait for a week." Now, with this rule, we were allowed to choose if the other sibling could use our stuff. And while we had threatened not allowing each other to use our stuff before, and even temporarily taken it away, it was pretty much always resolved within 5 minutes. Not this time. My brother was serious about not letting me play for a week. Now normally this wouldn't bother me, but I had been waiting for almost 2 years for a sequel to Mario Maker, as we had sold our Wii U to buy the Switch, and he knew exactly how excited I was. So I gave him an ultimatum. "Well brother, if you're not going to let me play SSM2 for the week, you can't use any of my stuff for the week." "Okay, it's worth it, since you made me wait a week to use your Rift S." This was where I realized he wasn't joking. I thought he was just messing around and was gonna let me play it, but when he responded with this, I decided to go all out with what he had agreed to. So I asked him, "Are you sure you're okay with this? That would mean you wouldn't be able to use any of my stuff for the next week." "I'm fine with it." And immediately after that, I sprung my plan into action. I start off by unplugging my Xbox One, which he was playing on. I then grabbed the controller from his hand, grabbed my game cases, and took it back to my room. My brother just sat there in shock of what was happening. When he asked me why I did that, I told him, "You just agreed to not using my stuff for the next week, so I'm taking my stuff back." "Fine, I'll just play Fortnite on the Switch." My brother walks into my room and goes to pick up the Switch from my dock, and I grab it before he does. I bought the Nintendo Switch, so therefore it falls under our agreement, and you can't use it. My brother starts to realise the mess he has gotten himself into. Out of all our gaming devices, only the PS4 is partially owned by him, and is the only thing he can play on. However, the only games he has actually bought for the thing are Skylanders, Disney Infinity, Destiny 1 and Spider-Man. Everything else was either bought by or gifted to me. This means he can play only those games, the free-to-play ones on PS4, and whatever he can manage to run on his old laptop, which still runs Windows 7. Also, since he can't use the Switch, he wouldn't be able to play Mario Maker 2 for the next week. He talks to my mum, and after I tell her my side of the story, she agrees with me and tells my brother that I'm allowed to do this. 30 minutes later, he's back to playing Fortnite on the Xbox, and I'm enjoying Mario Maker. Okay, I don't have a brother, so this seems so petty to me. Like, wouldn't you just share? I don't understand. It seems everything's so really petty. I guess it is r/pettyrevenge, but yeah. If you are a bish, you do not get a fish. The scene: my cousin's destination wedding at a very fancy venue in Italy. My mother had been picking at me all day. My hair wasn't right. My dress had a mark on it. It wasn't social enough. I was rude for pointing out it was the 23rd time I had to fix her phone's roaming settings, etc. Just very grating behaviour. I was sat next to my brother while my parents were on the other side of the huge, beautifully decorated table. Hogwarts table meets Pinterest wedding aesthetic. When my family RSVP'd for the wedding, we put down 2 fish and 2 meat meals, figuring we'd just switch at the table. I said I didn't care too much and I intended to let my mum have the fish. Then the waiters came out to my side of the table and put down the most beautifully prepared fish I have ever seen. It was twice the size of my brother's fish for some reason. My brother started digging into his immediately. My mum looked over hopefully, expecting me to hand her the plate. Sorry, I've changed my mind. I think I will have the fish. She spent the rest of the dinner scowling. I don't know why, I just love that title. If you are a bish, you do not get the fish. Distract me through my music performance? Enjoy this new type of music I made for you. Backstory. This took place a few days ago when there was very heavy rain. It's important later. At my school, we have a large assembly every week. At the beginning of said assembly, someone plays a musical interlude. I volunteered to do it this week. I sat next to 3 boys in the year above me and then played when called up to the stage. However, they were talking and trying to distract me whilst I was playing. So when I got back to my seat, I realised something. The floor of the hall was made out of polished wood. I used the rubber bottom of my very wet shoe to make constant squeaking noises for them to enjoy for the rest of the 20 minutes we had to sit there. It felt like such a power move. I was really confused and I thought everyone would be able to hear the squeaking noises, but then in the comments they said, nah, I got the perfect volume. So yeah, it works out. Hey everyone, I hope you all had a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now, or check out the playlist down below. If you enjoyed that video, then please do leave a like, and if you want to submit your own stories, then you can do so by joining the Discord in the top link in the description. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.